My message to all of you to know that you to prepare and know that in the news, gentlemen, Canadian Security Service, the government be taken by India culture in that building, Canadian Security Service, and costing for a long time behind the my case crime, India culture in BC, Vancouver, which is I bring the Abbotsford flat and the Faux flat in Montreal, the Nova Scotia, Saint John, Newfoundland, Quebec. I am sending to all of you to know that, gentlemen, Canada government coming on the biggest emergency attack by space to their government in Ottawa, coming on the national biggest attack ever has been sent to the one country is coming direction to the Canada. To their capital city, Ottawa. Plan is destroying this culture inside the Canadian Security Service building necessary. I bring it to you here, gentlemen, to know that and believe this is on the way to Canada. Necessary by nuclear explosion to that building in the Ottawa, gentlemen. God want to release the nuclear attack to that building, Canadian Security Service, to bring in that culture, India, under my investigation for deadly investigation to their government, Canada, for giving job to this culture. I bring it to you, gentlemen, here to know, all of you to know that Canada is under this investigation, gentlemen, for crime of the India culture. They give job, and which is the casting Fort McMurray fire, this culture, which is the casting crime behind me, and I give warning, and I been in Fort McMurray. After that Calgary, before that Calgary flat, many attack came to Canada to removing that culture. But if it's Canada, Canadian Security Service, final, they don't freeze in this culture in Canada. Final, many blood will fall in Canadian Security Service. I bring it to your evidence here. Give me 1 second here, gentlemen. I bring to all of you evidence about Canada crime. Give me 1 second here. In 40 days ago, flat hit in Canada for 4 provinces. And Space God's give warning to Canada, I send it, to remove the India culture before many fall. And we are talking about at least 150,000 people in BC, Vancouver was with not electricity. That was a wake-up call to BC, Vancouver. And Abbotsford Flat was a wake-up call. But this time, I understand Canada be crushed down, gentlemen. What is coming by Space God's side? Their plan to completely crush down the Canada inside Ottawa by 7.7 earthquakes. But I understand to tsunami destroyed in that city, Ottawa, all the building by 8.7 earthquakes. Their parliament will fall. To bring in this culture, India, under my investigation, according to the God, for $700 trillion, this culture has been charged to the government of Canada pay price for this culture, what did it cost behind them. And this attack coming is costing national biggest emergency. Canada going on the biggest emergency, gentlemen, ever will see one country has been in the history. I can send to all of you to know that government of Canada be crushed down, gentlemen. You must believe what I'm sending to you today. The government of Canada, gentlemen, be crushed down. I don't know, Iran here, they're raising the flag of the Iran and they make Iran. It's not important. I am basically somebody God called me to rule in the Iran, rule in the many country. But Canada costing me serious crime, gentlemen, to my value. And this crime of Canada, I bring at least, I can say, to now, few $100 billion damage to their country. So far I bring. From Quebec, Montreal, few years ago, worse flat to the now from Fort McMurray. If you put all that, I bring few $100 billion damage to their country so far, because I know what I'm talking about, but they don't know what they're talking about. So I bring it to you, gentlemen, to know that final, everything coming back to United States, freezing government of Canada, attacking government of Canada before too late, gentlemen. If European not stand up by Russia to attack in Canada, completely crash down the government and system, you must believe space God's side will crash down 77 times worse than you going to United States or European Russia attacking Canada. Space God's side will crash down 77 times worse. Canada become must useless poor country in the world by breaking down their system from space, all their technology they build, everything Canada build in the space, they are in the risk, gentlemen. I can tell you today. Because one step angel, they touch it, bang, big bang in space happening. Destroying Canada technology, all the satellites to not let Canada carry on this culture, India freezing this culture from inside the Canadian Security Service to their federal department, RCMP criminal, India, to their police criminal casting behind my future missile. So this information must go again to you European to believe space God side is on the way to bring in Canada on the emergency crash down their country inside the Ottawa. If you don't stand up and attack in Canada, you must believe 77 times worse Canada facing in their country, Mr. Because God told me, wait, I will destroy them, this country, and you must believe my word. God is releasing angel to crash down completely Canada system from top space breaking down to their capital city parliament. Their building completely fall by 8.7 earthquake to tsunami, gentlemen.